Usagi Yojimbo. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Art with Toys, and I'm back with another figure review, this time on the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987 TV show, and this is Usagi Yojimbo. So, wait, hold on a second. That's better. And shout out to Made 1979 Customs for this classic animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Dio, and you could check him out on Etsy, as well as Instagram and Twitter. So there's his information there. Let's go. All right, so before I get into the box and the figure, I just want to throw this out there. I'm gonna have to edit these clips together because I do have a nagging cough. But essentially, I just kind of wanted to go over the history of Usagi Yojimbo really quickly. So he was created in 1984 by Stan Sakai. The story follows a rabbit ronin named Miyamoto Usagi, and that's actually his real name. Fun fact, the show made a mistake calling him Usagi Yojimbo and naming the first episode he was in Usagi Yojimbo. And I think because of the show's popularity at the time, and it was his first mainstream appearance, he became commonly known as Usagi Yojimbo. But again, his real name is Miyamoto Usagi. And the comic follows Usagi as he travels the Edo period of Japanese history, and he's occasionally hired as a bodyguard. All right, and then just going through Usagi's television appearances. So he was actually supposed to get his own animated TV show. However, it was scrapped due to the failure of the Bucky O'Hare show, which Bucky O'Hare, obviously, as you know, is also a rabbit. So he does show up in season 3 of the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show, which would have been around 1990, and he was in episodes 32 and 34. So in episode 32, the Turtles are going to the video store to return a VHS tape. However, it's closed, and during their time there, they turn around. General Trag is there, so they go to fight General Trag. However, they can't land any punches because General Trag is not physically there. It's just a hologram of him. So essentially what happens is they start to think that somebody's playing with trans-dimensional transportation, and it could only be the Shredder. So Donnie tells the team that he also has a portal, and they go back to the sewers, and Donnie shows them the portal. They turn it on, and at the same time, the Shredder is using his transportation ray and creates an interference which causes Donnie's portal to show Usagi Yojimbo's dimension. And when they show it, Usagi is in the middle of a battle with 3 pig warriors. He manages to manhandle them pretty quickly, but jumps through the portal and begins to attack the turtles, thinking that they're soldiers in his dimension. However, you know, obviously he doesn't know that they are mutants on Earth. So he manhandles the turtles pretty quickly. Michelangelo manages to beat him by throwing a piece of pizza at his face, which he thinks is a form of fighting, which jokingly Splinter calls slapstick. And he again becomes the friends of the Ninja Turtles. And in the episode, the Shredder's looking for a ancient Japanese relic that he knew about when he was in Japan. It happens to be at a animal sanctuary located in New York. It's a giant egg containing a dragon. The foot soldiers go over and they steal the egg, and they get the dragon to hatch. And Usagi must work together with the Ninja Turtles to keep the dragon at bay, and they eventually get him back into the egg and defeat the Shredder. So at the end of the episode, Donatello basically lets them know that it's a 1 in a billion chance that he's going to be able to figure out Usagi's dimension. So Usagi's essentially stuck there in New York, and he goes to live at the animal sanctuary with Obento, who runs the sanctuary, and Obento becomes his new master. And then we don't see him until a couple episodes later. So in episode 34, the Shredder, who is upset that he lost to the Rabbit Ronin and to the Ninja Turtles for the umpteenth time, devises a plan to get Usagi to fight for him. So what he does is he kidnaps Ubento, who is Usagi's new master, And Usagi goes to save him. The Shredder tells him he can have Ubento back if he defeats him in a sword fight. However, if the Shredder wins, Usagi would have to work for him and defeat the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So the Shredder wins with the help of Bebop and Rocksteady, who use a giant magnet to pull the sword out of Usagi's hands and into the wall. And, you know, the Shredder gets the upper hand. So Usagi's a man of his word, goes after the Turtles. And in doing so, Donatello figures out that Shredder cheated to win. So Usagi, who now doesn't see Shredder as a man of honor, joins back with the Turtles. And ultimately, they defeat them in the episode and so on and so forth. So that's the last time we see him in the 87 cartoon, which again, this is where this figure's from. He then shows up again in the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show in the second season in episodes 23 through 26. Then he comes back in season 3, and he's in episodes 1, and then he's in episodes 22 and 23. Then he's in season 4 in episode 13, and then one last time in episode 13 of the 7th season, and that's when Casey Jones and April get married. Then to round it out, he shows up in the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show in the 5th season, which is titled Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for 3 episodes. And then finally, he kind of gets his own show in April of 2022 on Netflix. However, the show centers around a descendant of Miyamoto Usagi, which is a teenage rabbit named Yuichi. So with that, let's get into the box. All right, so real quick, just to look at the box, you have the VHS style box with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at the top, Usagi Yojimbo in the middle, Raph on the left, Leo on the right, the tail of Usagi Yojimbo at the bottom, Nickelodeon, and then NECA. And again, these are the VHS style boxes, and I think NECA is the OG at doing these boxes. If you guys have noticed, Hasbro has done the same thing with their animated X-Men TV show releases that have the cell shading. And then Diamond has done it with, you know, a few different figures. Like I know the Cobra Kai stuff is in that style of packaging that looks like a VHS tape. And then I know some, they've put out some of the mini-mates in that as well. So on the left side, you have Nickelodeon NECA and the Ninja Turtle logo, the Tale of Usagi Yojimbo Volume 8. On this side, it is the same thing. On the back, you have an image of Usagi Yojimbo, the figure form there, animated image of Usagi fighting the turtles in disguise. The disguise that they're in is the sunglasses, which the color of the sunglasses match their bandanas, and then they have on jackets. And I believe Loyal Subjects showed these guys at San Diego Comic-Con, so they're going to be putting out a version of those. I imagine NECA is soon to follow, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have another image of the figure there, and the turtles in the background. And then you have Ninja Turtles, Nickelodeon, and then you have your read-up. And then on the top, you just have your turtle logo. And then it says Nickelodeon. On the bottom right, it has the warning choking hazard, ages 14 and up. And on the bottom, you have your legalese and your barcode if you'd like it. And as you saw before, you have that Velcro that allows this to swing open. You have a big image there of the figure, and then you have the figure there with the change of heads and then all the accessories around it. And then there's some stuff in the back, and then there's a background there. And the background is of the Turtle Dio that NECA put out. It's an animated version of that Dio. You could barely see it, but it is there. All right, so taking a closer look at the figure out of the package, he looks really good. Paintwork is great. The guy feels solid out of the package, which I'm really happy about. So for the head there, you do have that fur sculpted in, which is nice. And that's the same on the hands and the feet. And then he has the blue eyes there and the eyebrow going up. And then he has that purple tie there for his ears. And then he has the whiskers and everything painted in with just that black outlining, which is great. It gives it that animated feel. And then for the gi, same thing, the animated feel with the cell shading. So for the gi, you have the baby blue in the front and then the darker blue in the back. And then you have all the symbols painted in nicely. And then you have the symbol painted in on the back as well, which is great. So they took some care and love with painting the back, even though there's not a ton of detail. And then you have the gray outline, gray belt. The pants, there's not a ton of detail on the pants. They're just black. It's a matte finish, so it does look great. if you shine the light on it just right. And then again, for the feet, he does have the fur sculpted in, and he's wearing the Ronin style, I guess, sandals. And then he comes out of the package with 2 open hands, which again are sculpted to resemble the fur. So that is it for a closer look at that. Let's get into the accessories. All right, so here's the alternate head sculpt that Usagi Yojimbo comes with. More of an angry look. He has the angry eyes. So has the whiskers painted in. He's showing teeth on this one. And then on this one, the ears are down. And what's pretty cool is with both this head sculpt and the other one, the ears are on a peg. So they can actually move around at the top, like so. And if you would like to have an angry look with the ears up, you can actually just pop them out and pop the other ears in. And you can have your Usagi Yojimbo with the angry look and the ears up. And then if you kind of want to have that stoic look with the ears down, you have that option as well. You just put the ears down on that head sculpt and it works out pretty well. And real quick, before I have a million people correct me in the comments, and because I don't feel like going back and reshooting the details as well as the head sculpts, I just wanted to do one correction. Just remember, we haven't seen this character on TV in a long time, but that's actually not an eyebrow. It's a battle scar. Same thing on this head sculpt as well. So that is a battle scar, not an eyebrow. I stupidly just referred to it as an eyebrow because I wasn't really thinking at the time in my haste to film the clip. So there you go. Then, like I said, he comes with the open hands out of the package. He comes with 2 fists. He also comes with 2 grip hands, which could be used for holding on to his swords. They also can be used for holding on to this dagger, which is done in the gray paint with the brown handle and then the line work. And this other one, which is also done nicely. It's got the gray paint, 2-tone, so darker gray, lighter gray, kind of that lighter brown there, darker brown here, and then the line work is done. And if you remember, this weapon was actually included in the Playmates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Raphael, and there was actually a spot in his back for it to slide into. So that's pretty cool. And then real quick, for his swords, so his swords are done nicely. It's the silver plastic there with the lighter gray and the darker grays for the handle. Same type of work was done on the handle that was also done on the other daggers, where it's brown and it has the black line work. But they actually fit into his sword sheath, which is a little weird. So what NECA did here, and we'll just lift up his arm, is they included this elastic band, and I actually kind of wrapped it in a way that I kind of would see the wrap going around the sword sheaths on, like, you know, samurais and things, and it actually tucks up under the belly part of the gi, so it kind of hides it away there. So that's cool, but it's not my favorite setup. It moves around a lot, and it's just kind of you know, a little bit tedious. I did the wrapping that way so that it held it in place versus just going straight over the top, because I felt like it just wasn't enough tension to hold it in place and keep it there when I'm trying to use it. But, you know, again, not my favorite thing, but it does serve its purpose. And then the swords actually do fit in here very nicely. So you have that. And he's all set. And Usagi also comes with one of the Tokage, and I believe this is supposed to be his pet version, Spot. And he has some spots painted there on the back, and then 2 dots there for the eyes. They have no articulation, and he's just painted in the green paint. But it's pretty cool that they added him in there. He's not actually in the 1987 animated series when it showed in that season 3. In both episodes, he doesn't appear. He does, however, appear in the 2003 show, and he appears again in the 2012 show. So it's still pretty cool, even though he does not show up in the older TMNT animated cartoon. Pretty neat that they still decided to put him in the packaging. And, you know, he's very commonly running around with Usagi in the comics as well. So only right that he was included. Then Usagi comes with this hat, and this is sculpted and painted nicely. And it's held on by this chin strap that goes around. And you want to use the ears down look so that it sits on there nicely. And there's actually just a little indentation there in the top of the hat on the inside that the band that's holding his ears together kind of sits in and kind of keeps it in place. But you can move it around too. If you want to have it like over his eyes or something, you do have that option. He also comes with this cloth goods robe, which is done nicely. And it does have a wire at the top on the hood, so you can kind of position it down on him. And then there's a belt that he comes with as well, made of the same elastic material that they used for the belt that you're supposed to use to hold the sheaths in for the swords. So this looks pretty good. And if you remember in the show, they needed a disguise for him, so they put him in just a black robe and took him through New York. All right, so taking a look at Usagi Yojimbo's articulation, you have the head that is on the dumbbell joint, so it will look up that far. It will look down that far. The ears will again rotate on that peg, and that's for both the up ears as well as the ones that are laying down. He does have some tilt as well. Arms will go up about that far. I don't want to force it too much. NECA, if you force it, a lot of times it's been known to break. Single jointed elbows that go in about that far. And then he does have a rotation there at the elbow. He has rotation at the wrist. And then he has that standard wrist articulation, which is on the gripping hands as well as the fist hands and the open hand. So no up and down wrist movement, just the regular standard one. And then at the ab, he does get a little bit of crunch there, not a ton. He does have some upper thigh swivel that does rotate on that ball up there. So you get plenty there. Single jointed knees that go in about that far. His foot is on a hinge, so you do get some pivot that goes in that far, out that far. The foot goes down about that far, and then goes up about that far. And then if you have the sheaths on the sides, obviously this arm's gonna get all the way down. This arm, you kind of have to work it around the sheath, but you can make it work to where it looks pretty good. So again, not a ton. He's a little guy. He's not gonna give you a ton of articulation, but I think enough to get the job done. And almost forgot, but he does have a waist swivel. All right, for some quick comparisons, you have the NECA Usagi Yojimbo from the 1987 animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon next to the Usagi Yojimbo from the 2012 CGI animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. Again, he appeared in the 5th season on that show. And then on the right, you have another Playmates one, which I customized many years ago. It's needs a little bit of touch up, but that's the same, essentially the same figure or the same character. It's the 2012 Usagi. He's just in the samurai costume. Here's NECA Usagi Yojimbo next to the SH Figuarts Leonardo, which I'm kind of bummed that we never got the rest of that line. And on the right, it's the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Disguise, Donatello without the disguise. And I did do a matte finish on him to dull down the shininess. And this is actually my daughter's favorite turtle. And here he is next to the NECA animated line Master Splinter, and he came in a 2-pack with, I believe, Baxter Stockman, and the NECA animated series Casey Jones, who also came in a 2-pack with a damaged foot soldier. And to hit the nostalgia button, here he is next to Diamond Select Animated, the real Ghostbusters Winston, and an old Ninja Turtles watch. That doesn't work. But if you're a kid, you were the coolest if you had this. And last but not least, god damn it. Here he is next to Retro Spidey and the new Mezco Steelbox Wolverine. All right, and just final thoughts on this figure. I do like it a lot. Again, a little bit of a limited articulation, but that's to be expected with the little guy here. The articulation he does have gets the job done. The gripes that I have, the elastic band that hold the sword sheaths on could be done a little bit better. Would have liked it maybe if there was some loops actually sewn into it for the sheaths. But all in all, I was able to kind of wrap it around the top of the sword sheaths to hold them in position pretty tightly. And then it kind of disappears under that cut in the midsection where the articulation is. So it doesn't look terrible. It gets the job done. I can look past it. Other things, there is some paint transfer at the joints. I noticed a little bit of that flaking off. That's to be expected with NECA. Over time, that will subside as, you know, that paint will be gone and you won't see any of it, or you'll see less and less of it. And then there is some paint transfer from the handles of the swords and the weapons onto the inside of the palm of the grip hand. So not a big deal. You're not going to see that, but it is there and something to look out for. So, but again, love this guy. If you're an Usagi Yojimbo fan or a Miyamoto Usagi fan, if you're a NECA fan, if you're a NECA turtle completionist, if you're a turtle fan, all in all, fan of any of that or all of that, this is a guy that you definitely have to have in your collection. So with that, if you have any questions, please comment below. Comments are great. I try to respond to all of them. Please like the video, hit that subscribe button, hit those bell notifications to alert you whenever I got a video going up. And yeah, I appreciate everybody watching. And until next time, peace.